What is going on, squad? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Trainer podcast. And in today's episode, Cole and I, every Thursday, we're restarting this whole thing where we do a podcast, all right? And it's fucking going to be lit. So sit down, buckle up, fucking tune in, tap in, turn on. Today, we're going to be talking about what does it take to start with nothing and end with millions. Now, I want to talk about why I feel like this conversation needs to be had, because I frequently think about why me and you ended up growing our fitness business to $50,000 a month, then ended up going all in on business coaching, then ended up becoming the best in the industry. Whereas other people, everybody in the industry wants to be the best. Everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants to be successful. But you and I have clearly separated ourselves from the pack. So like, I'm interested in having the conversation between you in terms of like, what does it take to go from like the fucking dudes that were, in 600 square foot apartments in Calgary, Alberta, barely getting their online coaching business off the ground, to being the fucking dudes that are driving the supercars, owning the gym, fucking making the money. Like, what does it fucking take?
So I feel like that's the question that everybody wants us to answer, but I feel like it's more simplistic than individuals understand. I feel like in my brain, at least, I think it's not a too serious conversation. However, the things that you need to embrace in order to become the person, I feel like is where it really takes the hard work. So before we get into like the what it takes instantaneously and we give the value of this and we start dissecting it, I think we need to start with the origin story of where we come and how the mindset was developed in the first place. So we don't need to go deep into the story unless we really want to take it there. But like baseline origin story, guys, when I met Brian, just to kind of show you my life through a lens, when I met Brian, I was in a 600 square foot apartment living with my girlfriend at the time, wife of now, Julia. No joke, a block and a half away from him, which is fucking wild because you were also in a 600 square foot apartment.
600 square foot apartment. I was a single Pringle at the time. I had just gotten together. I was starting to see somebody, but I was a pretty single Pringle at the time.
Yeah.
And I was just a dude. I always think it's funny when people fucking hate on me because I'm like, I'm just a dude that has a laptop that works for 10 hours a day.
And that was the thing. Like, that was the mentality. Like, when I had met B, I was an iron worker. I started ironworking. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the timeline. April 2014. I quit ironworking September 2017. All right. Like, that was the breakdown. That was the timeline of me ironworking. And like, I had met B right after I started to transition my life. So I was already like 8 months deep into personal development around there, where I had stopped taking Percocets, stopped drinking so much, stopped hanging out with the fucking friends that I didn't like anymore. And it was because I just looked in the mirror one day and was like, I don't like you. I don't like how you look. I don't like how you dress. I don't like how you act. I don't like how you spend money. I don't like what you do on the weekends. I don't like how you treat women and people around you. I didn't like Cole. So I just chose to make a decision to be like, all right, enough is enough. It's time to fucking change. So when I met you, I had already started to go through that transition, started to work on myself, started to work on my body, and you became my first fitness coach at the time. And let's do it like this, because in order to, I guess, explain to these people what it takes to be the best in the industry, and in order to explain to these people what it takes to go from trailer to millionaire, I feel like we need to dissect the traits and the habits that individuals will see, correct?
Yeah, but I think traits and habits, but I also think that the commonality that I have with your story is I also didn't like me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like me. Like, I didn't like how much money I was making. I didn't like what type of person I was. I didn't like my character. And because I didn't like me and I didn't like the place that I was at, I was like, I need to fucking change me. And at first, I literally started changing my life because I hated myself.
Same.
I hated the fact that I was a drug addict. I hated the fact that I was living on my grandma's couch. I hated the fact that I was letting my grandma down. It didn't start from self-love. It actually started from self-hate.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
I don't fucking like myself.
I honestly do not agree with the term and do not like the term self-love. And this is where it's like a little bit of a dicey conversation, because at some point in your life, you do need to come to terms with who you are as an individual, and you do need to give yourself love. However, if you subjectively look at your current situation and you do not like it, I feel like you are better motivated by self-hatred than you are self-love.
And this is where people get stuck, right? Because people are like, oh, I need to love myself. I need to love myself no matter how I am. And so then they're fucking broke as shit. They're not making the money they want to make. Their content isn't hitting. Their business isn't growing. And they're like, but self-love.
And the relationship is garbage because you guys are listening to society standards. You are listening to insecure people justify their actions and dress it up as self-love and body positivity or whatever else they would like to break down, forcing you to do the same, because if you were to actually work on yourself, it would make them even more insecure. This is the vicious cycle that we are in, because again, like 600 square foot apartment is where you met me.
Yeah.
But only 2 months before I moved into Julia's 600 square foot apartment, I was living on my siblings' couches.
Yeah.
And I did that shit for 4 years, bro.
Yeah.
4 fucking years as an iron worker, grinding 10 to 12 hours outside, living in my siblings' houses, either in a spare bedroom or a fucking couch.
Yeah.
I was nothing.
Yeah.
I was nothing. It was only through self-hatred that I started to make the transition in my life, that I started to alter who the fuck I was.
And so when he made the transition, this is another thing that I think is really fucking important, because before you can go from nothing to millions, before you can go from nothing to freedom, before you can go from nothing to successful, both of us embarked on this journey, and you spoke about it and I resonated with it. So I want to speak on it because I think this is another way our stories converge. It's personal development.
Yeah, bro.
So like I decided I was going to become better. I decided I was going to level up. I decided I was going to start going to fucking events. So I went to this like event when I was like 23 years old. I just recovered from my addiction. My friend Cam invited me. It was like $1,000 to travel across Canada. I had $1,300 in my bank. So I ended up doing a split pay for the ticket. And then I was able to afford a Greyhound bus ticket across Canada. And I had $100 for a week's worth of food. I didn't have a cooler. So I took 2 fucking grocery bags with cooked food that didn't have a cooler for 4 days on a Greyhound bus. By the 4th day, I'm eating like rotting food, but it's all I had.
Yeah.
And I literally was going to this fucking personal development retreat to learn how to like develop my mindset. And it was just personal development. And then from that retreat, I learned about goal setting. So I sat down every day and I'd start writing goals. Like, I want to sign my next client. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then like, I think the reason that I really love fitness is, and I think fitness is always where you should start, is because fitness is a perfect measuring tool for your self-development. So it's like, we both developed self. We both worked on ourselves. And through working on myself, like I actually started to feel a sense of like self-respect and self-love. And I started to feel this like, holy shit, like I'm worth this.
Started to feel like a winner.
I started to feel worthy.
Yep, 100%. And that's because work instills a worth. It's one of the things that I respect about you, and I've commended you for in the past, is that like you knew that you needed to get around other successful people when you wanted to start transitioning your life and improving your life.
Yeah.
That was something that I didn't understand for a long time. I just felt like lost and alone. And I don't know why I was called to fitness. And I wanted to ask you this question after I break it down. But guys, it was the exact same thing with myself, but I didn't know I needed to get around other successful people. I just knew that I didn't like me. So I assessed my situation and I went through a process of elimination. No more drinking, no more drugs, no more friends, no more parties, no more bars, no more bullshit, no more girls, no more dating apps. I cut out everything. And then I looked at my life subjectively. I'm not making any money. I'm living in a fucking shitty situation. I'm broke as a joke with $20,000 of debt. What can I control? I could control what I put in my mouth and I could control what I did with my body. So I would go to work. I would go to the gym. I would box. I would sleep and I would do it again. That was the only fucking thing that I did for months and months and months and months and months until Julia came into the picture. And then months and months and months. And then Brian came into the picture. And then because I had worked on self and started that personal development journey, when I did finally find a circle of people that were starting to elevate themselves mentally, physically, and emotionally, I fit in. So it was like a part of the puzzle right away. And it started to project me forward.
So I want to touch on that because I think that's a fucking really valuable point in the idea that like, so let's define personal development, because like personal development can be a broad term that can be misunderstood. Personal development, in my personal opinion, means that you are developing a better version of you.
Mentally, physically,
emotionally, you are becoming a better version of you. And I think that's really important to discuss, because I think that a lot of people end up going to try to grow their business. And we see this in the academy all the time. They go to grow their business, but they're not becoming a better version of them. And so they're like, how do I lead gen more? How do I create better content? How do I do all these things? But they're just not good versions of them. They're sleeping in, they procrastinate, they don't get shit done when they're supposed to. They're a slave to their bad habits and not their good habits. And they wonder why they're not growing. But I think that like one of the things that I think really solidified us and started to separate us is the idea of like, I want to become a better version of me. Now you asked me like, what got me into fitness? Like, dude, when I was younger, fitness saved my life.
Mhm.
So like I was like 14 years old. I was fat as fuck. I got like turned down by some chick and I cried into a pillow. And then I was like, I'm not gonna be fat anymore.
We've all been there.
That's literally it. I was like, I'm not gonna be fat anymore. Okay. That's
Girls
fucking-
out here turning fucking brokies, jokies,
yeah,
into
literally. I was
millionaires.
like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be fat anymore. Fuck this. So I started going for runs. And
Mm.
so like I knew from reference experience, because I had this experience when I was 14,
Yeah.
went for a run every day, ended up losing 30 pounds. I knew that fitness could be a vehicle to transform my life. And the reason that I got called to fitness after my addiction was because my life was pretty shitty. Even when I recovered from my addiction, I went back
Still
to live with
shitty.
my grandma.
Yeah.
Right. I was living with my grandma for like another 6 months because I just spent all my money paying off the drug dealer so I didn't get fucking capped when I'm
Mhm.
fucking going for a nice casual stroll.
Yeah.
So I just like every dollar that I made was going back to the drug dealers to pay off the debt that I had accumulated when I was an addict.
I didn't know that.
I didn't. Yeah.
You never told me that part.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, I like that.
So that's why I lived with my grandma so that
Yeah.
I could fucking pay them off and I could be like fucking good and I could
Yeah.
feel safe walking around my city. But in that time, I'm literally working at a restaurant, living in my grandma's trailer, no money to myself. And I'm like, I need to feel good about something.
Yes.
And so fitness was me feeling good about something.
This right here, the reason why I wanted to go down this path is because, again, this subject is we could talk about it for weeks. We could talk about it for months. We could talk about it so in depth because there's so many different things that need to go into you actually becoming the person worthy of the millions, especially when you came from the brokey. All right. When you came from nothing. And the reason why I wanted to go down the fitness path first is because me and Brian both have said it a million times over. Fitness is the foundation of all success.
I agree.
And the reason why we agree with that and the reason why we believe in that with every fiber of our soul is because what you just said.
Mhm.
A lot of you guys are currently living a life of quiet desperation. You hate your current situation, but you don't see a way out. So you need to just learn how to become a winner. And it's very fucking easy to do that when the only thing you need to do is eat better and train.
That's it.
You don't need any money. You don't need any success. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new job. You don't need all that shit's still going to suck.
You could be broke as fuck and do push-ups in your house.
That's what we were doing. Like all of that shit is still going to suck and it's going to suck for a while. But while all of life is in chaos, you could be centered. And that's why I feel like fitness is the center because it teaches you all of the necessary habits and rituals that accumulate success over time because it takes a fuckload of discipline and it helps you learn to be a winner because you learn to love self and get out of self-hatred.
Yeah, I agree. So I agree with that statement. And I think that like a lot of people get into fitness because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
But then they lose momentum when they don't have a target and they lose momentum when they don't have a goal. And so they're in it and then they're out of it. They're in it, then they're out of it. They're in it, then they're out of it. And they never actually get the full benefits. And I personally think that whenever you're working on your fitness goals, like you should have a target, a destination, a milestone in mind. And I'll tell you why. Because this trait, this ability that I generated through fitness allowed me to transform it into business, which leveled me up immensely. So at first I was just like, I just need to get back into working out and get rid of my addiction. I did that. And then I'm like, I kind of just started to feel like a loss of purpose in the gym. And I'm like, okay, what can I do to give myself purpose? I'm like, I can do a fitness competition. So that's when I registered for a fitness competition for the sake of having a specific deadline that I was training for. And when we're talking about personal development, like you want the ultimate form of personal development, you're into fitness, do a fucking show, do a powerlifting meet, do something in your arena, do a fucking Ironman, do a fucking Spartan race, do something, but have a deadline that you're training for. And so for me, my deadline was my fitness competition. And I also set the goal of winning. And so when I like headed towards that competition, in order for me to become a winner, like when you're competing against everybody else, you basically need to be more disciplined, more consistent, more rigid, more on top of your shit, doing your cardio, getting to sleep. Like you need to be doing everything the best you can possibly doing. And fitness gave me the ability to develop self.
Yes.
And I developed the discipline. I developed the character. I developed the tenacity because like I developed the ability to stay resilient when it got hard. Cause like when you're prepping for a show, it's hard as fuck.
100%.
It's hard as shit.
It's exhausting.
But that ability of being able to see a target in my future, work towards that target in my future, and then step on stage looking fucking juicy, that ability, once I ended up winning my fitness competition, I won first place. I was like, oh, that's when it clicked. I was like, if I just set my fucking mind on a target and I just never, ever, 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 ever stop, I will eventually get there. I have a cool story I want to tell you. I've been working on getting to 10,000 YouTube subscribers for like the last fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm at 9,999 right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be at 10,000 today.
Yes, it is.
But I set the goal of 10K YouTube subscribers like 3 years ago.
I remember that.
3 fucking years
I
ago. It's
remember
on sticky notes all over my
I was
damn
gonna
house.
say, I remember all your sticky notes. All
But
over
the
place.
way that I got that fucking ability to see a target in my fucking future and then work towards it relentlessly and never, ever, ever stop is fitness.
Dude, same.
Fitness.
That was literally the thing that transformed my entire fucking life. And if you guys look at my timeline through fitness over the last 7 years, it's not like I bulked up to become some crazy fucking bodybuilder, but that was never my goal. All right. It was just to become a better version of me. And it first started with fitness competitions. Again, 7 months in the gym, just working on self, seeing moderate progress. I did look decent. But then I met Brian. Brian's like, you're going to do a show. He pushed me to do it because he understood the transformation he went through. I then went to win on 3 first place and 3 overall trophies in the span of 9 months, destroyed everybody on stages. Then I lost purpose because I didn't have another goal. It wasn't that I fell out of love with fitness. Fitness was my foundation. However, then life started to happen. All right. Me and Julia started to get closer and start to talk about family. Then we started to grow and scale the businesses. Life happens. And if you don't have a tangible goal that you can look at, feel, touch, think about, chase, it's very easy to get distracted on what you actually want to achieve. So I went into limbo for a bit. Right. Then I chose to do another show and I literally transformed the way I was disciplined and how I showed up on a daily basis. I lost like 37 pounds in just under 4 months. Transform my entire body. Directly after that, I went registered for my first boxing fight. And then I boxed for 9 months straight. Me and Jared were talking about this yesterday. I didn't actually take a step back to audit how hard I was working before that boxing fight last year. Dude, we boxed, no joke, between 350 and I would say like 340 to like 355 days straight, 2 hours a day.
That's crazy.
Bro, we literally only missed like a fucking like half a dozen to a dozen days. And I was doing 2-hour sessions and an hour and 10 minutes of bodybuilding training every day. But that right there, like that style of training coming into my boxing fight, even though some individuals would be like, that's too much, that's obsession, blah, 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 led me to not only win my first amateur boxing fight, but then it also got me my body and my life back. Because in that limbo that I told you guys about after show number 3 that I hit, I fell out of love with my body. I hated the way that I looked in the fucking mirror. And I had this disconnect when it came down to the work with my fitness because I was so focused on business. But now I'm like, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I've got abs at 175 pounds. My cardio is ruthless. Dude, I was gone for 6 weeks. Me and Jared started. He's like, oh yeah, I'm exhausted training you again. He's like, you didn't skip a beat. He's like, I thought you were going to be fucking out of shape. Like, he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's peak because it was like that last leg of show boxing training hit. It just raised my fucking standard. And then I made a conscious choice in my mind, 3 a.m. Cole, that you guys have heard on a million podcasts. I will never fucking miss this again. And it was like, this is the standard. It was raising it, then upholding it, no matter what. That's the mentality that will help you guys get to where you want to be.
Dude, I love that. That's cool. I was just thinking in my head while you said how many hours you boxed. And like, if you think about how many hours most people box, like that train for the fights, they probably box 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, for an hour session.
An hour session. So that's 3 hours a week. Times that by a fucking year, 52. That's 152 hours in a year. But you're doing 2 hours a day for 365 days. Like that's fucking,
bro.
That's
was
like 700 hours.
It was insane.
So like, I want to take that same concept because a lot of people like, what does it take to go from nothing to millions? Well, first things first is like Cole and I have been ruthlessly committed to self-development for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
10 fucking years. I think it's 8 for you.
It's just at 8. Yeah. This will be technically my 8th year, bro.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
like
fucking insane.
It is insane. I've been doing it for 10. So I was doing it for 2 years before me and Cole crossed paths. So 10 years. And I've been working, I would safe to say that I've been working 8 to 10 hours every day for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
5 days a week. So that's 50 hours a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. So that's what I want to do some math. That's 2,500 hours in a year. 25,000 hours.
Yeah, bro.
That's how much fucking time I've been putting into this shit, dude. That's how much time I've been putting into this shit.
It's not a surprise that you get results when you put that much time in.
25 times 50 is 1,000, actually. 12,500 hours in the last fucking 10 years. I just did it in my head.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not a math guy, bro.
I'm a fucking math guy.
I punch shit. I don't calculate shit. Brian was the nerd in high school. I was the fighter, dude.
12,500 hours in the last 10 years. That's how much work I put into my social media. I had BMarkFit was my other Instagram account. It had 3,000 posts on that one. I've got the Real Brian Mark that has 2,500 posts.
Yeah, you're about to pass your post ratio.
Yeah,
which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then my podcast, there's 1,157 episodes.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, what the way that we got from fucking nothing, like we literally started in a trailer from nothing, and we separated ourselves from the pack and became fucking elite. We're talking about industry leaders undeniable best in the space is, I personally think, number one is personal development. I think played a fucking huge role in it. Number two, I think fitness played a massive role in it. Number three, it's setting a target and going after it fucking relentlessly.
Yeah.
And dude, one thing that like, I love that you mentioned standards. I also just think it's showing up every fucking day, bro.
Dude,
It's every fucking day, because you look at people that don't make it, or you look at our competitors that we started with back in Calgary,
yeah.
or you look at online coaches that come into the space, they drop off the face of the planet, then they come back, then they drop off. Like, people are just so fucking inconsistent over time, dude.
Yeah.
So inconsistent. And then they're like, and then they look at us and they hate on us and they're like, oh, those fucking guys, they must be selling drugs out of their fucking backseat of their Lambo. And I'm like, bitch, like, I just outwork you.
Dude, and
I just outwork you. You are fucking lazy.
The funny thing,
I outwork you.
The funny thing is that the people who are saying those things will never agree and will never understand what you just explained. And it's because and this is the thing, even though there's a massive part of me that truly believes that every single one of you guys listening to this could have everything that you want, I also know with every fiber of my fucking being that 90% of you never will. And it's because you either have it or you don't. I was broke as a joke in a 600 square foot apartment with no car and no money to my fucking name. When Brian met me, how did I show up every day?
Dude, Cole was the guy that was the first person to get me his check-in every single week.
4 a.m.
4 a.m. Oh, I'd wake up and he'd already have his fucking check-in done. He was also the guy that every week we'd have opposing practice twice a week, and it was at 6 p.m. He was at my house at 5:50. He just never fucking
every fucking time, dude. And it was just a choice. It's who do you show up when nobody is watching? And that is a lesson that you guys don't understand. You only show up when your mom is paying attention to you, patting you on the back. You only show up when that wife, when that friend, when that business partner, when that teacher, when that parent, when that person is eyes on you. As soon as they look away, you stop fucking moving.
You only show up when it's fucking convenient for you, when you're feeling motivated, when you're excited, or when you're getting results. You only show up when you're getting validation for the work that you're putting in. You only show up when you feel like it.
Let's take a layer deeper. You only show up when you know results are guaranteed. You only show up when you know that the outcome is going to happen for certain. Because if you actually just trusted self, you wouldn't need a fucking incredible blueprint and an exact game plan. You would just start with the basics like we did. I didn't have a fucking blueprint on how I was going to go from absolutely nothing, negative $20,000 to a consistent 500,000 in the bank. I didn't know that was going to happen. I just looked at my life and was like, okay, I need to fix this. Done. Do it. Now, never miss. Here's the standard. We're going to show up every fucking day. What's the next thing? Here, boom, done. This is the standard. We're going to show up every fucking day. It's about making the goddamn choice to do the work. Stop waiting for someone to guarantee you results, to make sure that you get the certainty needed, and just do the work.
If you're listening to this, I want you to understand something, okay? This is the fucking truth, is that it's actually easy to be successful.
Yeah.
It's fucking easy. It's easy. And I'll tell you why. Because if you can just get yourself to make the decision to show up every fucking day, make the decision to show up relentlessly, make the decision to show up with intensity, with passion, with love every day, automatically you separate yourself from 99% of the population, because 99% of people are not willing to show up every day. And so when you take that character trait and you extend it over a time horizon of not a year, not 2 years, not 5 years, but 10, 20, 50 years, when you take that, like, I will show up every fucking day as my very best, I guarantee you will be successful. And Cole's right. There's a lot of you guys listening to this podcast that will never tap into that. And that might fucking sting. And that might annoy you. And that might piss you off. And if it does piss you off, maybe you are the type of person that can't fucking make it. Maybe you are the type of person that just needs to be challenged to step up to another level. But I'm talking to that one fucking person that's listening to this right now that absolutely knows that they were made for more. They've had this calling inside of them that's been like fucking screaming at them to get out of their 9 to 5, to get out of this in-person job, to get out of this fucking shitty situation. If you want to be the best, it's really fucking simple. You just need to decide what you want and then outwork fucking everyone.
It's about making the choice and flipping the switch. And I feel like one of the main reasons why people on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all these social media apps hate, and I'm talking about HATE, hate people like us and millionaires and motivators and gurus or whatever the fuck else you want to call successful people online. The reason why they hate them is because we all say the same shit. Flip the switch. get to work, embrace certain habits, get moving. And that's because there's no fucking special sauce, bitch. Like, if enough, I'm like tripping out. I'm having a fucking short circuit right now. Like, let's really look at it subjectively, okay? We're not saying go take advice from Elon Musk. Homie's a fucking alien. All right, so let's just remove him from the equation. Look at every other fucking multimillionaire that's going turbo viral on social media. What are they saying? Exactly what we just said.
Yeah.
Get to work, shut the fuck up, do the shit regardless of how you feel, wake up when you need to, work on your mindset. Like, it's very basic advice. So if enough people are actually saying it, don't you think it's true? Like, don't you think there's some validity to the statement coming out of their fucking mouth?
Scam. Must be scam.
And that's what I mean. And that's why I truly believe that 90% of you guys will stay broke and struggling for the rest of your fucking lives, because you can't just get out of your own head and be like, okay, well, I'm looking at 1,000 people who are all saying a series of steps. Maybe I should just do it.
Yeah, you know why though? Here's why. All right, here's why. I got some funny shit for this. So first things first, I think it's absolutely fucking hilarious whenever like I post like, picture of the Lambo or like bank statement or whatever. And people are like, there's no way you fucking made that up. Right? Like, I fucking think it's the funniest shit, because I'm like, you're just admitting to yourself that you'll never make that kind of money. And that's why you don't believe it's possible for you. That's why you don't believe it's possible for me, because like your comment on my post just validated the fact that you'll never make that money.
Yeah.
That's number one. But number two is a lot of people do work hard. This is the thing. A lot of you guys do work hard, but you're just in the fucking wrong opportunity vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You're working hard and you're working 9 to 10 hours a day. I had this guy, I think I told you about this. This was like 4 years ago. I used to work out with this guy when I was like 21, 22, 23, whatever. And he sent me a message like 2 years ago.
I think you did tell me about
this. And he was like, fuck you, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
He's like, fuck you. He's like, fuck you in your house, in your car, and your fucking posts on social media. He's like, I grind my ass off 12 hours a day working out of a truck, and you're over here posting about your fucking Lambo. Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, like, I didn't choose to do that.
Yeah.
You chose your life.
That's it.
Why are you fucking mad at me?
That's it.
Like, you're just in the wrong opportunity vehicle. So you can get upset at me all you want. Like, I get that you're working hard, but like, if you're working hard and you're not getting paid, like, don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself.
And that's it.
Get mad at yourself. You're not in the fucking place you want to be, and you're angry at somebody else for being successful. Dude, I like, no matter what, whether I agree or disagree with how somebody got success, like, there are certain influencers, I'm not going to name names because whatever. There are certain influencers that I look up to and I'm like, I don't fucking like that guy. But I'm also like, he's doing better than I am, so I can't really say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I might not like that guy, but he's doing better than I am, so I should probably shut the fuck up and take some notes.
And that's it, dude, right? Like, have you ever left a negative comment on a random person's social media?
Never. I would never leave negative comments on another person's social media because I'm too focused on me.
And that's it, dude. That's
I'm
where
too
like
focused on me.
Like, I get it, right? What Brian said has a lot of weight. And that's the thing. I get it. You guys see the successful people and they are all saying the same thing. And then you look at everything that they are saying and you're like, I'm doing that. Well, that means you also need to build self-awareness and self-responsibility, because apparently you lack it. I don't care if you have every single trait identical to Brian and myself. You will never make millions working at McDonald's. So maybe it's time to quit and go somewhere else, right? Or look at the lifestyle choices you're making. You want to be a super successful entrepreneur. We don't need to go super in depth in this, but I'm going to say it. And you're sitting in entrepreneur class, learning from a fucking 9-to-5 teacher who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Maybe instead of spending that money on university, learning from a 9-to-5 guy teaching you about entrepreneurship marketing strategies that happened 15 years ago. Me and Jared were literally talking about this. Take that money and go hire a fucking entrepreneur in the hobby field that you like. Like, you guys are trying to take society's normal and use that path to give you the 1% success.
I like that, because I wanted to say something about that, because I fucking thank you for saying that, because I was thinking about it earlier and I want to fucking touch on that topic. Is like, you guys
Mm-hmm.
follow everyone else's rules. You
Yep.
follow everyone else's rules.
Yeah.
Everyone else says to go to university, so you do it.
Yeah.
Everyone else says you should find a career with a stable job, so you do it. Everyone else says posting on social media is too fucking much and like you're posting too much fitness content. Everyone else has these rules and you follow them. You're a fucking rule follower. You are.
Yeah.
Rule follower, rule follower, rule follower.
Little robot, dude.
You want to know whose rules I follow? Fucking me.
Yeah, bro.
My fucking rules.
Same.
I literally decide what kind of life I want to have, what kind of car I want to drive, what I literally decided my fucking life is going to be hot before I even met her, what my body's going to look like, how much money I'm going to be making. I fucking
You
decide.
guys, Brian literally outlined exactly who he wants as a business partner. And when
And
you
it was
read
you.
it outline, it's literally me.
It's you. It's my vision when I was fucking a drug addict literally
Yeah,
said,
bro.
my business partner is somebody that has a strong personality, that holds me accountable, that sometimes lets me fall on my face and sometimes calls me the fuck out. It literally says that. And then here he fucking is. Look at that. I manifested you.
Yep. 100%.
But what I'm saying is I follow my own fucking rules. You guys are following everyone else's rules.
Yes.
So if you want to be somebody, if you want to fucking do something, if you want your life to have meaning and purpose and value, then you need to be different than everyone else, which guess what? That means people are going to talk shit. That means people are going to doubt you. That means people are going to criticize you. That means people are going to ridicule you until you get to a point where they're like, touche,
Well, and also like they should.
touche.
They fucking should. This entire mentality around I deserve belief and I shouldn't get hate and ridicule or doubt from individuals around me or in my circle or that used to know me is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's the stupidest mindset in the entire world because of course they should doubt you. What have you proven to show that you can actually do it in the past? What have you done? Nobody ever fucking believed in me when I first started this goddamn journey. And they shouldn't have, because everything I tried in the past, I quit on. Everything I did in the past, I fucked up. Everything I did in the past was mediocre. So obviously, when I first started, I got hate, I got ridicule. I didn't get the belief that I so desperately wanted, which is exactly what should have happened. But like Brian said, I didn't care about any of that because I was focused on what I needed to do. I understood that I couldn't operate like regular society and get 1% results. So I needed to do shit differently.
You can't act like them if you don't want to be like them.
And that is literally comes back to the statement of only take advice from individuals you would want to trade places with. Only ever. I don't give a fuck if you can take life experience from the homeless guy on the side of the street. I don't care. Why the fuck would you listen to him about business advice? Right?
I agree.
Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
I think it's funny.
Stop asking your goddamn mom, who only ever worked a 9-to-5 job, on how to become a millionaire. You're being a fucking idiot.
It's like the people that want to work with us, and then they're like, I just need to run it by my wife to make sure she's on board with it. I'm like, I'm sorry, is your wife an entrepreneur?
Your wife is a 9-to-5 employee, and there's nothing wrong with that. But asking your wife about taking a massive financial risk into a life that she doesn't understand, but you have a burning desire to achieve, is only ever going to hit with a roadblock, because she wants what's best for you and what's safe for you because she loves you, not the risk, because risk comes with pain and they want you to not feel it. So stop asking advice from people who are only going to tell you what the benefit is to staying safe. That's why I don't run fucking things by my wife or by my mom or by my dad or by my grandma, because they don't get my mindset, because I'm different.
This is, I'm glad you said I'm different, because I'm jumping in right here. Guess what? You want to start with nothing and then with millions. You want to be that guy. You want to be that girl. You want to stand out from the crowd. Guess what? I'm different. I agree.
Yeah, dude.
Not only am I different, I'm better. That's how I view it. Not only am I different, I'm better. There's no fucking reason that anybody that exists on this planet should have anything that I can't have.
Agreed.
I have this delusional level of self-belief that says to myself, like, I can achieve anything that I set my fucking mind to.
Yeah.
If Gary Vaynerchuk exists, that's possible. If Alex Hormozi exists, that's possible. I look up to all these people. If Ed Milet exists, that's possible. If Andy Frisella exists, that's possible. Like, I'm fucking delusional. And so the reason that I keep climbing the ladder of success, the reason that my Instagram continues to grow, the reason that my podcast continues to grow, the reason that PT Domination continues to grow every single fucking year is because not only do we believe that we're different, we believe that we're better.
Agreed.
We believe that we're better. And you have to, at some point, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm fucking better than this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better than I've been showing up. I'm better than I've been putting in. I'm worth more than I'm demanding of myself right now. And that comes down to standards.
Yeah, bro.
Right? This comes back to the fucking conversation Cole had about standards. Like, I know what I'm fucking capable of, because I know if I was given the same hands, the same eyes, the same fucking perception, the same ability to think as any of the fucking great people that have ever existed in the history of this planet, then that means that I can achieve it too. And it might take me a year, it might take me 2, it might take me 5, it might take me 10, but I will fucking get there because I will never stop. Mic drop.
It's a mindset that people will take decades to understand because they're worried about the timeline rather than just what they want. Do you want to be better? It's a question I want to pose to you guys today, because I don't want to add too much after what Brian just said, because that's what you need to hear. But the question I want to pose to all of you guys listening, whether you're on a live stream, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on an audio only replay, do you want better for you and your family? Better body, better life, better house, better car, better money. Do you want better? The answer is yes. And it should be fucking yes for all of you. Stop settling. Then make the choice today to do something. If you have no means to get out of your situation, start with the basics like fitness. If you have some means to get out of your situation, go hire a fucking mentor working in the field that knows what you want and knows how to get you the results. But it's just make the choice and do it. Stop thinking, stop waiting till January 1st. Stop waiting because it's your fucking birthday, bitch. Like, fuck my life. That's actually a shot at somebody who fucking sent me a DM yesterday. Straight the fuck up because they want to work on themselves. Me and you had a conversation about her, by the way. All right. You told me that she's a little bit flaky. So if she hears this, she's going to know I'm talking about her specifically. But she has everything laid out for her. Oh, well, it's my birthday. So I'm going to wait till Monday. Motherfuckers. Like, that's why you guys are in the position you're at right now. And then you look up to other people that are making 10 times, 100 times, a million times more money and impact than you are.
So, by the way, guys, who here enjoys these conversations?
I do. So I don't give a fuck if they do.
Yeah, I enjoy them thoroughly.
Yeah.
I enjoy them thoroughly. If you guys are taking what we're saying right now and you're like, it's something's resonating, whether that's we're pissing you off or we're fucking firing you up or whatever, something's resonating. Guess what? Cole and I are launching a mindset program. All right. We're launching a mindset program.
Champions Inner Circle.
We're going to take these fucking beliefs, these character traits, these core values that we have used to create the life that we have. And we're going to download them into your fucking brains.
Yeah.
So we want to give you a sneak preview of what the mindset program is going to look like, which some of these conversations, you guys will get some of that. But we also are going to be hosting a masterclass tomorrow evening. Right. Tomorrow evening. So if you're watching this on Instagram, stay tuned for our Instagram stories. This is where we're going to announce the masterclass. It's going to be tomorrow evening. You guys are going to get to register for free. You're going to at least get some value, some practical takeaways that you can start utilizing in your own life, in your own journey, in your own mindset. Whether or not you want to join the mindset program, we could really care less. We already have a full wait list, but we wanted to give you guys a sneak preview. So stay tuned for the masterclass. We're going to announce it tonight, and the masterclass is happening tomorrow.
And on the audio only replay, mine and Brian's podcast will be live in the morning of the day of the podcast. Yeah. Masterclass. So just go to our Instagram stories. You guys will be able to see the link, register, come and watch, get a bunch of free value. Again, we can give you every tactic in the world. Our mindsets are why we are here.
Period. Oh, and one more thing. If you're watching on Cole's, you're watching on mine, I'm going to ask you a favor and help me get to my 10,000 YouTube subscriber goal. We're like literally less than 100 people away. So go fucking subscribe to me on YouTube, Brian.
I'm actually going to say something too, because I never ask. If you guys are listening anywhere, come to my Instagram and fucking follow me so I can hit 400,000 already. All right. We're like literally this far away and I'm just slowly seeing the climb. I'm like, fuck you. All right. Fuck you. Let's go. Impacting your lives, transforming your lives. It's time to level up.
Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.